going to finish up with Bob. Bob, thanks for hanging on. Are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, Bob. Sorry for that little glitch here. We got a technical difficulty all ironed out. That's Mercury retrograde for you. So,
all right.
One thing, Bob, I want you to consider here, and this, I don't know how open you are to this, but there was a 7-year-old girl from Seattle on my show a couple of weeks ago, and she's 7 years old, and with the help of her mother, she was able to get a couple of $100 worth of nutritional supplements a month for free because she built a longevity business. So look,
right,
man.
I got that on my iPod. I listen to you every day on my iPod.
All right, great. So look, talk to your upline. Call Longevity. Find out who it is that's in your upline, because somebody's above you in the network, even if you're a customer. There's somebody that's above you in the network. Just call Longevity's customer service. Their number, 800-982-3189. That's 800-982-3189. Find out who is above you in the network and call them up and say, hey, you know what? I'd love to know how to augment my income with the business opportunity. Teach me how to do it. And that's how we roll here. We all lift each other up. And I'm telling you what, Bob, man, if a 7-year-old can do it, I know that you can do it.
Right.
So consider that.
I've got a customer. That's what I haven't got my first check yet. So, but she's having problems with. I think she's having problems with Beyond Tangy Tangerine because she has diarrhea. She has 2 healthy digestion packs.
Okay, so the main cause of, did she have diarrhea before she started with us or after?
After.
Okay, so that's the single leading cause of diarrhea post taking the Healthy Start Pack is a reaction to the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. And it's not really a reaction, but here's how that shakes down. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine is loaded with very high potency concentrated nutrients. And when you take an appropriate dose for your body weight, when you take that stuff into your body, if your digestive tract is having trouble absorbing it, which undoubtedly it is because, everybody eats the wrong food all the time and they don't know any better. When your digestive tract is having trouble absorbing nutrition, if you take the Beyond Tangy Tangerine in too concentrated or too quick a dose, it won't absorb into your bloodstream, not all of it, and some of it dumps into your colon or your large intestine. And when you get vitamins in your large intestine, it makes you have diarrhea. So diarrhea after the Beyond Tangy Tangerine is a drop-dead indication that, number one, she has to avoid all of the 10 bad foods, especially wheat, barley, rye, and oats, because it's the gluten in wheat, barley, rye, and oats that interferes with absorption of nutrients. So she needs to be gluten-free yesterday, number one. Number two, I would calculate her dose, the appropriate dose of Beyond Tangy Tangerine. So if it's 4 scoops a day, if she's got 2 healthy digestion packs, it would be 4 scoops of Beyond Tangy Tangerine a day. So what I would do is I would give her 1 scoop in 16 ounces of water minimum 4 times a day. And I would have her drink each dose over the course of at least 1 hour. Take at least 1 hour to drink each dilution of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine down. And if she dilutes it like that and drinks it slowly, I can't guarantee anything, but that's probably going to go a long way towards eliminating the diarrhea. So what I would have her do is stop the Beyond Tangy Tangerine completely for 48 hours, and then starting on the 3rd day, start it up again, but take it in a much more dilute sense, or a much more dilute concentration over the longer period of time. She's also got to stop eating the wheat, barley, rye, and oats. If she doesn't want to do that, this isn't going to work, and that's what I have to say about that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what she's gonna go after, because I had her down to just 1 scoop in 20 ounces for an hour.
And she was taking an hour to drink it, and even that was giving her diarrhea?
Yeah, so she's going to go off it completely now till Monday, because she's going away for the weekend, and when she comes back on Monday, she's going to try it again, and because she really wants to make it work, because it's working for her husband. His diabetes is coming down, and so they both have a lot more energy now. They're both about 70 years old.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, this is interesting, isn't it? So, another option is to put the Beyond Tangy Tangerine in yogurt. If you get some full-fat yogurt and just sprinkle the Beyond Tangy Tangerine crystals right onto the yogurt and mix it in, it makes it look pink like Pepto-Bismol, but it doesn't matter. And oftentimes
how much yogurt?
Like a little pint of yogurt. I would do 1 scoop in a pint of yogurt.
Okay, I'll have to try that next week.
Yeah, you got to mess around with the dose like that. And another thing I want to tell you, Bob, and you probably already know this, so forgive me if I'm preaching to the choir here, right? But, let's say you inherited $500,000 and you wanted to invest that in a McDonald's franchise, right? So McDonald's would not let you buy a McDonald's franchise until you've gone to Hamburger University for 6, 7, 8, or 9 months. They send you to school to learn how to make the franchise work and how to make it successful, because they don't want people to go out of business. It's going to make them look bad, right?
Right.
Well, there's no difference with longevity or any other business. There's things that you can do to make a longevity business, even a part-time business, fly or crash and burn. And, I would encourage you to get in touch with somebody in your upline who's successful at making the business work and have them coach you and hold your hand and train you. Because as God is my witness, there's a way to show this to people that will chase them away from you, and there's a way to show this to people that will attract them to you. But there is a learning curve, just like anything else. So call up Longevity Customer Service if you feel so inclined, and hook yourself up with somebody in the upline who can teach you the easy method of enrollment, because there is an easy method of enrollment. Maybe you already know it, I don't know, but you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So
my upline is Andy Anderson. I don't know if you know Andy Anderson.
I don't. Are you leaning on Andy for help?
Yeah, he's my upline. He's down in San Diego, I think.
Okay, well, if it were me, I'd be calling Andy every day and asking him for advice about what to do. And generally speaking, what we're finding here with new people is it takes about 4 months of working back and forth with, a coach, with someone in the upline who knows what they're doing in order to get comfortable with the process. And, it really depends on how much free time you have in the day and how much willingness you have and really how into it you want to get, really. But, the learning curve here isn't steep, but there is a learning curve. And I would lean on the upline heavily, man, because I'm telling you, Bob, if a 7-year-old can do it, you can do it 100 times better.
I'm listening to your Tuesday podcast now with the lady that's been in 7 different.
Yeah, that's remarkable, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a really good one. I really enjoy listening to you every day.
All right. I appreciate the support, Bob. Call anytime. Thank you so much for the call. Cynthia from Florida is up next. Hey, Cynthia. Thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, yes. I had a question about my friend, and then I have a follow-up question about my son again. But, yeah, she, I guess, was diagnosed with hyperemesis gravidarum. And I know she's been complaining that, she's pregnant, first of all, and she's saying that this is the first time it's ever been like this, where she's having nausea and she's vomiting.
Yeah, all right. So stop. I want to stop you right there just to underline something, okay? Everybody in the audience, the listening audience, was going, oh, my God, hyperemesis gravidarum. What the heck is that? That's got to be some horrible thing, right? Oh, my God, what is that? That's nausea and vomiting of pregnancy, right? That's fancy schmancy doctor talk for nausea and vomiting of pregnancy, and this is what the medical community does. They couch things in Latin terms to make them appear to be intellectually superior to you. It's the same reason that the Catholic Church used to conduct Mass in Latin with the priests back to the audience. When I was a little kid, that's how it went. They did that all. It's part of, bread and circus. It's part of theater in order to make their stuff seem, bigger than it really is. Well, the medical doctors do the same thing. Website, check it out. Tonight's webinar for subscribers only on kidney health. If you or anyone that you know is suffering from kidney disease, needs dialysis, or maybe is going to get dialysis in 6 months if things don't improve, you want to be at the webinar tonight. Going right back to the phones now, Cynthia is talking to us from Florida. All right, Cynthia, what else you got?
Well, my other thing was that she was prescribed Zofran, and when I looked that up, I was like, that looks like something that pregnant women should not be using, so I just wanted to know what to tell her about that.
Okay, well, you know, it's dicey territory where, because there's only a few states, actually, you know, the way that naturopathic medicine is you can only legally tell someone to stop taking a drug if you can prescribe that drug in the state in which they live. And currently, I'm waiting to be licensed in the great state of Minnesota. That'll happen in a couple of weeks, just because of, you know, bureaucratic snarls. But in the great state of Minnesota, I can't prescribe drugs. So I can't advise someone to take or not take a prescription medicine, which is a tragedy of biblical proportions. If it were me and I was pregnant, I wouldn't take that. What I would do instead is 1 Healthy Start Pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, 1 bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month, and in order to support and promote my gut in the presence of an MD diagnosis of hyperemesis gravidorum, which is fancy schmancy doctor talk for nausea and vomiting of pregnancy, I would get oil of ginger, the essential oil of ginger, and I would put a couple of drops of ginger oil in my belly button every time I felt nauseous. And I want you to advise her to do that, and then call me back and tell me what happened, because that's almost 100% guaranteed that that's going to really knock the nausea down a remarkable degree. Just simple oil of ginger in the belly button to, you know, support and promote the health of her gastrointestinal tract in the face of a diagnosis like this. But really the other thing that she needs to be concerned with is neonatal nutrition. Mm-hmm. All birth defects are caused by lack of nutrition in, well, not all, but the majority. I mean, if there's exposure to radiation or an exogenous toxin, that can also precipitate a birth defect. But the majority of common birth defects, like spina bifida and cleft lip and cleft palate and Down syndrome, these are cystic fibrosis, these are all mineral deficiencies. So she needs to be worried about, she needs to be diligent about giving her body the 90 essential nutrients it needs to maintain her health every day for the rest of her life, including, of course, most importantly, during the pregnancy, because as the fetus develops inside her body, whatever day it is, whatever minute it is, whatever second it is, you know, as cells are dividing and parts of the child's body are developing, there are nutrients that are necessary in order to make all that happen. And if her body doesn't have enough zinc or doesn't have enough selenium or doesn't have enough iron at that moment in time, it's going to go south and the child's going to be born with a birth defect. So she needs to be on board with the Healthy Start Pack and the selenium every day. And the ginger oil inside the belly button, if that doesn't take care of the nausea and vomiting 100%, I will be very, very, very surprised. So advise her to do that and call us back with an update. I'd appreciate that. Does that sound like a plan?
Yep, that sounds great. And I have a couple more questions, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
My husband's too sick and too cold, but he wanted to know about his pinky toe. It keeps going numb. I wanted to know if you have any ideas about that. He's already on a Healthy Start Pack. He has high blood pressure, and his blood pressure has been coming down nicely. He's been off of his medication. So he's already taking the Healthy Start Pack. He's taking the EFA, the selenium, and yeah, that's pretty much what he's taking. So I just want to know, is there anything else that he should be doing?
Well, God only knows. It can be a million things. Well, not a million things, but there's a number of things. So his little toe on one of his feet just gets numb from time to time for no reason?
Yeah. There's been no injury. Just numb. I don't know.
Well, it could be. I would have him visit a chiropractor, honestly. I would visit a chiropractor and have him check out his back, because that sounds like a simple problem with the sciatic nerve going down into the foot. That would be my advice. I mean, just maintain the discipline with the 10 bad foods, staying away from them, and the supplements. Good job with the supplements, by the way. Take him to a chiropractor and see if they can give him a little adjustment and increase the blood flow and the nerve impulses to his lower extremities. That's what I would try. Hey, thanks so much for the call, Florida. I appreciate it. We're going to go right back to the phones now. Pam from Kansas is calling. Hey, Pam. Thanks for the call. You were live.
Thank you. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Question. I'm a gluten-free and have been for years, but you keep saying stuff about oats, and I get the gluten-free oats. I won't say the name, but are they bad too?
Well, the only way to know is to stop eating them for 10 days. And then on day 11, eat a bunch of oats. You have a great big bowl of oatmeal in the morning and see how you feel. See, the problem with wheat, barley, rye, and oats is the gluten that's in them. The gluten is the protein that's in the grain. Mm-hmm. You can get oats that have the gluten removed and, that haven't been processed in a factory where there's gluten dust in the air. But we believe that the protein of the oat that's not gluten is very difficult for your stomach to digest also. Mm-hmm. So, but ostensibly, right, the proof of the pudding's in the eating, and regretfully, there's no testing, no objective testing that you can do yet that will sufficiently prove whether or not, you have a problem with you, me, or anybody else has a problem with gluten. So the only thing that we lean on here is it's called an elimination challenge. So if there's something that you think might be bad for your body, you stop eating it for 7, 8, 9, or 10 days, and then the very next day in a row, you eat a lot of it and see how it makes you feel. So that's what I would encourage you to do. Are you on board with any of the supplements yet?
Oh, far too many. I'm about my second and a half year of the Osteo FX Plus, the Tangerine, the EFA Plus, and now Pollen Burst. I started about 6 months ago. So.
And are you experiencing any benefit from it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's remarkable, isn't it? What would you say, Pam, is the single biggest thing that you experienced that improved?
Well, one thing, it made a tingling in my hands go away.
Nice.
Also, I am a diagnosed heavy metal person, and I chelate.
Yeah.
And it has reduced my chelation numbers.
Yeah, you got to love that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You really got to love that. Just be advised, if you have high levels of mercury in your body, was that one of the things they found that was high?
Yeah. Mercury, aluminum, cadmium, lead.
Okay. All right. So I'm not so concerned about aluminum, nor should you be. Lead's a problem, cadmium's a problem, mercury ostensibly is a problem. It might be interesting for you to understand that selenium supplementation all by itself chelates mercury. So, take more selenium if you have a definitive diagnosis of a mercury overload in your body. My recommendation is 1 bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per day. Per month. Per month, not to exceed more than 4 bottles a month. If you add more selenium into your program, you're probably going to get a bigger chelation bang than you're getting right now, and that's not a bad thing.
Okay.
Sound good,
great.
Pam?
And what are your feelings on quinoa?
On what?
Quinoa.
Quinoa, love it. Quinoa, for the listening audience, is a grain similar to rice, kind of, sort of.
But it's a carb, too.
Yeah, it's a carbohydrate. All grains are carbohydrates. No. It's great.
Okay.
Quinoa is what the Aztec Empire was built upon. Quinoa, when you cook up quinoa, and it cooks up just like rice. For those of you in the listening audience that don't know what we're talking about, it's a grain similar to rice. You cook it just like rice. You eat it just like rice. Quinoa has, ounce per ounce, has more protein in it than any other grain. It's a very, very, very high source of protein. There's no gluten in it. So we're crazy for quinoa. I've got no problem with it as long as you put butter and salt on it, okay?
Or celery and apples.
All right, you can do that too. Celery and apples.
Thank you.
Hey, Pam, thanks so much. I appreciate the call. Appreciate your support. 866-582-9933 is the number to call. 866-582-9933. If you're listening to the podcast, that number, 855-347-3696. That's 855-347-3696. And, of course, the website, it's not fireyourmd.com. It's fireyourmdnow.com. That's an important distinction because fireyourmd.com belongs to somebody else, but not Dr. Glidden. So make sure you put the now in there. That's fireyourmdnow.com. And we add new stuff to the website all the time. We're changing the look and the feel of the website right now. Stay tuned. By April Fool's Day, it's going to be a completely different animal. You're going to love the stuff that we continue to add to the website, especially if you're a subscription holder. More and more stuff is going to be added on a regular basis now, in addition to the archived webinars. We're going to start archiving the live chat sessions. And, you know, of course, if you go into the radio section, all of the radio shows are archived, and you can search radio shows by illness topic. I mean, it's really pretty cool. We're doing a lot of stuff in the background to make your experience of gathering pertinent health information easy and clickable, right? Easy and clickable, because our whole perspective here, our entire foundation principle is that healing is easy. And we're teaching people how to become their own doctors at home because the MDs have failed you when it comes to chronic disease. So if you're suffering with a chronic disease, it is possible for you, just by being a member of my website, to access science-based, clinically verified information which revolves around supporting and promoting the structure and function of your body in the face of a diagnosis of a particular illness. So if you're saddled with a diagnosis of asthma and you'd like to know how you can support and promote your respiratory tract, your respiratory system with medical nutrition, just go to the website and click on it, and bada bing, bada boom, there it is. Really, it's that simple. You know, I know that you don't want to think it's that simple, but the only reason you don't think it's that simple is because the drug companies have convinced you for 100 years that it's complicated. And it's not. Surgery is complicated. Healing is easy. And we are lining up for you. And it's a work in progress. It's always going to be a work in progress because, you know, life is not a static phenomenon. Life is a constantly evolving process. Healing also is a process. So new information comes in, we assimilate it, and then we express it. And we're going to continue to do this until the day that I die, for goodness sake. And then the people that come after me will take up the banner, and we're just going to forward this movement into the future and into the future. And 100 years from now, everybody in the world is going to be doing what we're advocating now because it works. So if you want to get on the cutting edge, this is a perfect time to do it. If you're interested in results-oriented therapeutics to support and promote the structure and function of the human body, then you have just found it. You've just found it. Check it out at fireyourmdnow.com. That's fireyourmdnow.com. Going back to California again, Marie is calling with a question about the thyroid. Hey, Marie, you are live.
Hi. I have been taking, I'm on levodopa medication for the last 15 years.
Yep.
And recently I bought some longevity products. I'm on Start Healthy Pack.
Yep.
And I'm taking Ocean Gold 2 a day.
Yep.
But I don't know how do I wean off my thyroid medication?
Well, first of all, is your thyroid gland intact? Did they remove any of it? Is it all still there?
Nothing removed.
Okay, and how long have you been taking the meds?
The medication, I would say 12, 13 years now.
Yeah. Have you noticed any difference in anything since you started the longevity stuff?
Well, I feel like I could sleep very well. You know, I have a really nice sleep, a deep sleep.
Yeah, so your sleep is better since you started the longevity stuff, yes? Okay, and what about energy during the day? Have you noticed any change in your day-to-day energy, or was that pretty good before you started it?
Oh, it's always good. I always have a lot of energy.
Okay. Well, there's one piece that you might be missing, Marie. The levothyroxine... Go ahead.
Hypothyroid.
Yeah, I understand. Okay. So the medicine that you're on, the levothyroxine, which is also called Synthroid, levothyroxine is the generic form of Synthroid, is thyroid hormone 4. It's thyroid hormone 4. Now, there are 2 thyroid hormones in your body, well, 2 that we pay attention to. Thyroid hormone 3 and thyroid hormone 4. The medication that you're taking is thyroid hormone 4 only. Interestingly enough, thyroid hormone 3 is 4 times as strong as thyroid hormone 4. It's the preferred thyroid hormone in the body, but your medical doctors didn't give it to you. They gave you thyroid hormone 4 instead. Why, I do not know. Now, interestingly, in order for your body to make thyroid hormone 4 turn into thyroid hormone 3, which is its preferred thyroid hormone, you need the mineral selenium. Selenium is necessary to make that biochemical conversion.
I think I'm taking selenium 1 a day.
Well, how much do you weigh?
85 pounds.
Okay, so if I were you, I would take 3 selenium a day.
Okay.
3. Take the selenium between meals on an empty stomach if you can stomach it. If that's hard, have a little fruit or a little yogurt with it, all right? But do 3 selenium a day, and just by increasing the selenium, not only is it going to support and promote the function of your thyroid, because your thyroid needs selenium in order to be healthy, it's also going to help the levothyroxine work better. I mean, because your body will be able to make more T3, and that's a beautiful thing when you have an underactive thyroid, right? So there's 2 other things. One other thing that you need to do here, if you're not already, Marie, is you need to start using salt that has iodine in it. You need to start using iodized salt. Are you doing that?
Using sea salt?
No, you can have sea salt if it has iodine added to it. It has to say right there on the label, iodized or iodine added. So I want you to be salting your food every day, and I want you to be using salt that has iodine added to it. Now, you can find, because I've got it in my cupboard, sea salt that has iodine in it, but it doesn't have to... Yeah. It doesn't have to be sea salt. You can have any type of salt that you want as long as there's iodine added to it. You need to get into the habit of salting your food.
Okay, so can I get iodized separately, or...?
You can, but the easiest way to do it is to just get iodized table salt, because you need the salt in order to help your stomach have strong and healthy stomach acid. So if you just start using salt and make your food taste good, you get a 2-for-1. You get strong stomach acid and you get enough iodine for your thyroid. So that's a no-brainer. So what I would do here, okay, is I would do this program for 3 months. And every 3 months I would go back to the MD, and I would have them check your thyroid hormones. Specifically, they want to check for thyroid hormone 3 and thyroid hormone 4, T3 and T4, and check to see how the levels are. And when the levels start to come down into the normal zone, then you can try to wean off of your thyroid meds with the advice of your medical doctor and see how you feel. That's the only way that you're going to know. It's a little bit of trial and error as time goes by. Thank you so much for the call, Marie. I appreciate it. Here we come, ladies and gentlemen, the Longevity Nation marching into your neighborhood with books, with CDs, with health opportunities, with business opportunities, helping you recover from your vitamin M deficiency, your money deficiency, helping you recover from your chronic health conditions with science-based, clinically verified, holistic medical nutrition, which beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick any day of the week. For goodness sake, Marie, if you're still listening, there's a couple of foods that you and everybody else who has an underactive thyroid needs to avoid. raw spinach will make it harder for your thyroid to work because it interferes with the absorption of iodine, and your thyroid needs iodine to function properly. So I would avoid raw spinach. You can have a little bit of it, maybe once a week, but I wouldn't have spinach as a regular part of your diet, nor would I have Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, eggplant, or broccoli. Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, eggplant, or broccoli. You want to avoid those foods as well because consistent consumption of them can interfere and suppress your thyroid function. Your thyroid function is already suppressed, so that's not a good idea. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I did a webinar on thyroid health. It was 45 minutes long, and if I do say so myself, it was awesome. There's lots of information that you can get on all kinds of health conditions. And I speak about these health conditions from a holistic point of view, and you have access to all of this stuff if you're a subscriber on my website. So just go to fireyourmdnow.com and click on the Health Recovery Program tab, Become a Member tab. It's right there on the front page on the menu bar. Check it out. Become a subscriber to my online health recovery information at fireyourmdnow.com. It's only $17 a month. And tonight, for members only, it's exclusive, members only, and their guests, by the way. If you're a member, you can invite guests. You can invite 100 guests if you want, no problem. You have to be a member, though, and tonight's webinar is on your kidney and how to support and promote the healthy structure and function of the kidney, and really why, perhaps more than any other singular disease, when you're up against a kidney problem, you really, really need to fire your MD, because they have completely gotten the pathogenesis of kidney disease incorrect. From our point of view, they just got it wrong. And because it's a cowardly profession, they tend to perpetuate myths, treatment myths, and genesis of illness myths. And so, they'll tell you that you've got ill humors in your blood and you need to bleed yourself in order to make yourself healthy. That's how they killed George Washington. They'll tell you that your conditions are genetic, or that your conditions are autoimmune, or that there's no help for you, and that your body is sick and it's just a downhill slide, and the best possible thing you can do is manage the trouble with prescription drugs. Don't try to fix the mold, just paint over it with paint so you don't see it anymore, and when the mold comes back, just use more paint until the mold gets so bad that you have to knock the wall down, knock the joint down, give you a fake joint. Right? This is MD mediocre medical madness. And this is what everybody in this country has subscribed to. Everybody in industrialized nations all around the world has subscribed to, because of the ascendancy of the pharmaceutical industry. It's the pharmaceutical industry who is at fault here. It's the pharmaceutical industry, when you drill it down to the very core, to the very root, it's the pharmaceutical industry who is responsible for making the MD the king of the medical theater in the world. And, that's a hard act to fight, because they've got more money than God. So what we're encouraging people to do is just ignore the MDs. Fire your MD. The only time you're going to need to see them is, heaven forbid, you have an acute type of trauma to your body. That's what they're good for. That's their wheelhouse. That's their domain. For everything else, come to see us. The best way to access this information is become a Youngevity member and get a subscription to my online health recovery program. You're going to love it. You don't know what you don't know. Check it out tonight, all about kidney health. Until we meet again, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Tomorrow, in the first hour, Jonathan E. Mord, we're going to talk about testimonials and how the FDA has us hogtied. You're not going to want to miss it. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. See you then.